or I wouldn't be talking about them.
WDUN TV rolling on here. This is the second to last show in April, so we got one more in April. All right, we talked some high school sports. Let's move on to college. G-Day game was last week. In 30 seconds, can you say anything that you saw that was fancy and awesome as far as G-Day game's concerned?
Kwame Gathers has really kind of taken ownership of that defensive tackle position. Jonathan Jenkins, that big recruit we got out of junior college, is really going to have to work to unseat Kwame Gathers. He had an impressive spring game. Second thing, Brandon Smith, if we're looking for some instant offense, that kid, he's a cornerback. He has got a ton of speed, and if they can just kind of move him into the offense in certain situations, which you saw in flashes in 2009, didn't do it so much last year because he was injured a good bit, but he is a playmaker. Still worried about the offensive line. We'll see how that plays out, but overall it was what it was. Just kind of a fun day to go hang out and hang out with friends, which is basically what I ended up doing because I had to go to that wedding.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that was 54 seconds. You took a little bit longer, but that's all right. Ask a Georgia fan, talk about Georgia football. They can't do it in 30 seconds. All right, you got to go down to Georgia Tech last week. The T-Day game, I hate that name, is coming up Saturday. Here's my impersonation of Paul Johnson's spring practice. Ready? We're terrible. I don't know. We're just terrible. That's pretty much it. No, he's just one of those guys that he never has many positive things to say. But what did you see out of practice coming up?
He doesn't have a whole lot to say. Period to the press. I was down there on Monday, in fact, and talking to Daniel Drummond and Ijon Cross, who a couple local products who are expected to really end up anchoring that defense. Ijon became an every game starter and really kind of an anchor on that defensive line last year. They're expecting big things out of him this year. Daniel Drummond really, coming off a year-long suspension for what we don't know. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't divulge it, and I
don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, it's
some snooping reporter coming around.
Yeah,
hey, it's none of your business, Mr. Lee.
It is. It's I have to ask to do my job.
Of course, you have to ask.
But anyway, he has actually moved into the starting position at middle linebacker.
Has he really?
In that 3-4.
He was injured a little bit, right, during spring practice.
He was nothing major. He'll be fine. I don't know if he's going to play in the T-Day game.
As of now, he is. He's supposed to play.
Okay. So, but when I went down there Monday, he had the gold jersey on and did not participate. And I don't think he participated the previous weekend when I think they had a scrimmage on that Saturday, and he did not participate. But anyway,
the gold jersey is not the same as the yellow jersey in it's Tour de France. Either, so never mind.
Exactly.
Sorry,
he didn't take the overall lead.
No, he didn't.
But he in fact he does have the lead in that middle linebacker spot. I mean, He's a big, fast kid. I think he played defensive end in high school, but as he told me, I mean, the basics of it are pretty much the same. Go find the football. So that's what he's going to try to do. Tech and very much like Georgia's defense last year, kind of failed to impress and switching to that 3-4 in the first year. I think they're hoping to improve a lot on that because obviously you got another year experience. Kids are going to know where to line up and not have to think all the time, and that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it really does, and that's what I've kind of heard. And I mean, the kids could be smart on defense and everything, but if you're thinking and not reacting, then it's not going to finish too well. The 3-4, I think it was with Georgia and Tech. It's called the 3-4, but I think less than half the time they actually play in the 3-4. Is that right?
Yeah, more often. I know just from watching Georgia, you had an outside linebacker almost with his hand on the ground every down, or at the very least standing up on the line of scrimmage. So you've got, it's called a 3-4 because you've got three definite down linemen, but any of those linebackers can be up on the line of scrimmage at any given time. Sometimes, sometimes you got five on the line of scrimmage. So
yeah. I make fun of Paul Johnson, but I don't think I want a head coach who's like, hey, we look awesome. We look great. We don't need to work on anything.
Yeah.
I don't want that kind of guy. But one thing that Paul Johnson was saying through spring was that he wanted the offensive line to be more cohesive and that kind of thing. And I think that goes along with the other problem they had last year, which is turnovers. I mean, they turn the ball over all the time. Those two things kind of go together. Offensive line is one thing they really got to, especially the kind of offense they run.
Definitely. You've got to have, with that offense, you've got to have everybody on the same page at all times because it's such a, it is with every offense, but especially with running that the wing tee, the triple option, you've got to, if somebody misses their assignment just once, the whole thing blows up in your face, especially against, ACC level, defensive players. You miss a block and your quarterback's in trouble.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, it looks like Tevin Washington's still going to hold down that quarterback position,
which I'm a little surprised about. But if he wins it, he wins it. That's fine.
The beat writers that I talked to down there were also a little bit surprised, expecting I can't remember his first name, but
St. John
Days to come in and really take over. But they're saying he's having a hard time just kind of grasping the whole mental aspect of it, which coming in as a young guy and trying to take a quarterback spot, it's not going to be easy.
No, exactly. And I don't think you want a guy taking his first snaps, or some of his first snaps, I guess. He did some in practice, but going out there first game and making his very first start. So Tevin Washington got a chance to start last year, and I think he's done a pretty good job. Days is probably the future, but if you go with Washington this year, I think you're going to be all right. Daniel Drummond, as you said, probably going to start this year. Ijon Cross as well. I think Flowery Branch fans are going to look back on the teams they had and be like, boy, we had some really good players.
Yeah, the 2008 team that went to the Dome and.
Yep.
I had a really decent shot at winning that game.
Yep.
For the championship.
Absolutely. And another Shaw might be starting in South Carolina, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he had a pretty decent spring game, and if their starter can't get his act together, which Steven Garcia rarely does seem to have his act together, there's a good chance that Shaw is going to get some serious playing time this year.
We'll be right back. WDUN Sports Talk on WDUN TV.
At Riverside Pharmacy, if you have questions, they have answers. If you don't have time, they won't make you wait. If you need special items, Riverside Pharmacy can order them. They want to be your pharmacy, and that's what sets them apart. Service. And just inside Riverside is the Gift Nook, where you'll find more great service in a new line of beautiful wall plaques and great colorful bags. Shop the Gift Nook in Riverside Pharmacy in the old Sherwin-Williams building on Green Street.
At the offices of Dr. Norman Peets, DDS on Green Street in Gainesville, patients have all their general dentistry needs explained. Ask about sedation dentistry. Dr. Peets' team of professionals puts you at ease. Dedicated, experienced, professional. He's Gainesville's family dentist. Dr. Norman Peets, 615 Green Street in Gainesville. North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9, WDUN. Now 2 stations strong, AM 550, FM 102.9, WDUN.
All right, wrapping up WDUN Sports Talk on WDUN TV. Go to youtube.com and you can see us anytime you want to see us. All right, Hawks playoffs. I know you're staying up late, just thinking about how can we beat the Magic.
Yeah, it's keeping me awake at night. That's for sure.
I know it is. You don't even have to comment on it.
I wish them well. To me, there's no excitement with that organization right now.
No, there really isn't. All right, so where are you going to be the rest of this day, being Thursday? What are you going to be covering from this day through the weekend? What's going on?
Well, I'll be out at the boys Region 8 AAA tournament over here at Chattahoochee. It should be a very interesting tournament. There's about 5 or 6 teams with a realistic shot at winning it. The team that does win it's going to have a nice kind of bedrock for. In a couple weeks, the boys AAA state tournament will actually be at Chattahoochee. So it's kind of you play well here today, and you lay down kind of a gauntlet for 2 weeks from now.
All right, very good. The draft is next week. What day is the NFL draft?
Thursday.
Starts on Thursday?
All
right, so we'll get a chance.
Time, baby.
A.J. Green, drafted by the Browns, and you get Massaquoi. I think he's still with the Browns on one side, and A.J. Green on the other. Are you going to become a Browns fan?
No, but I'll always pull for the any dog unless they're playing the Falcons. But it's just I feel awful for anybody who gets stuck in Cleveland. That's just
I don't know why they can never be good.
Ownership.
Yeah, it's got to be
ownership.
It's not the weather because Pittsburgh does just fine. No, I have no idea what it is. So the draft. Well, hey, we'll talk a little about the draft next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, sounds good. All right, so read access northga.com sports section. There's a Gwinnett Braves blog, by the way.
Good job.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so we're doing that once a week as well. Morgan Lee, go out and say hi to him at the golf course today. Scott McIntyre, thank you very much for everything you do. Look at the wave. It's the Queen's wave. Very nice. We'll talk to you next week. Again, youtube.com. Just put in WDUN Sports Talk. You can find us everywhere. Talk to you next week. Have a good one.